As I told our team this week, I need to be a prophet. Sometimes my wife thinks I am a prophet. I told them this was going to be the hardest game they played all year, and it turned out to be that. I thought our mindset was capable of handling that, and through the ebb and flow of the football game, it showed up. I think UCLA came in here with the attitude that, talking to Chip before the game, we visited for about 25 minutes and talked about where we're at as far as trying to build programs. And we're basically on the same page. We've been fortunate enough to win some tight games and of that nature. But going into this, I never felt good about this game. I just knew it was going to come down to this. I just knew it was going to be a one-score game. I don't know, maybe I've been around football too long. I kept warning the players that's the kind of game it's going to be, and lo and behold, it showed up. To their credit, the peaks and valleys of the game, they withstood it, and they kept their poise. Can't say enough about the offense, what they were able to do, putting points on the board when we needed them. The defense made some critical stops, and then at the end, it was the fans. All of a sudden, we had a 12th person in the stadium. It was the fans. I mean, they got 2 penalties for 22 seconds running off the clock. Couldn't ask for anything more than that. I mean, they were leaving after we scored the last touchdown. I'm going, don't leave so fast. And, and obviously they scored and got it within position where they were going to make an attempt to try to either tie it up or win. The fans were terrific, making all that noise. And at the end, we found a way to win another game, which is important. So I'm happy for the coaches, for the players, for all the administrators. These guys got themselves eligible for a bowl. That's always important, I think, especially for coaches, because you get to practice, and we need a lot of practice. We're trying to develop young players, and some of them had to play today. Their eyes were really big too on defense, and that's expected. They played more snaps than they could imagine. It's easy to say I want to play when you're up by 3 scores, and all of a sudden it comes a tight game. You got to play good, and so we learned a lot about ourselves today. And we've got 2 games left. Now we got to go on the road. So after this. I'll walk out of here and see my family, and I'll start on Oregon tonight.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Coach, what about the 8-minute drive that put you up 2 scores? Can you kind of take us through that, how important that was?
Yeah, it was important in the fact that we couldn't stop their tight end. He's fantastic. I think he had like 11 catches or something. Every time I turned around, it was 81. Catch the ball, throwing 81. I said, not hard to cover that guy. Can we cover that guy? We couldn't cover him. And we just felt that we needed to possess the ball. And that was the strategy after halftime in the third quarter going forward. Could we possess the ball to not allow that offense the ball? And we had it for 36 minutes, which was good. And the last drive was fantastic, to go on a long drive like that because they were hot. I mean, their offense was rolling, and we did some things to disturb them. But for the most part, they had it going. We struggled covering their tight end.
Coach, you've spoken all year about this team having a next man up mentality. Mm. Can you speak to how the younger players with today so many injuries, the ejection with Merlin, how you saw the resiliency in your team today?
Well, they had to play, and the one thing we've taught them around here is when you go in, and I've told players this ever since I've been a coach, you're a starter, and play like a starter. And now Danny did a nice job of trying to minimize some things as far as his coverage and what we were doing with some players. So we had to cut back on some calls, to make it easy for them so they could line up. But I think they learned something today, and I think that's what happens for us. Every time you put a young player in the game, they're going to benefit down the road. This is a process. And so the more they play in a game, a live football game where it really counts and it really matters with the scores like this, it's a one-score game, they have to learn how to be comfortable in uncomfortable moments. That's what good teams understand. When it gets uncomfortable, you're very comfortable. That's just kind of my personality. I deal with it pretty good. I really do, because that's my mindset. It's always been my mindset as a player and a coach. You want your team to be uncomfortable, and when it hits them, they're very comfortable. They don't panic. I don't like guys that panic. People that panic, just stay calm. A lot of football left, and we'll manage the clock. We'll do some things to make sure we're in the game, And then you have to make the plays to make sure we win a game like this. And they did. The players did, to their credit.
Coach, talked a little bit about making up for the first half and the second half. So do you think that was intensified or even pushed forward because it was the senior game and, everyone was very emotional?
Yeah, it was important that these seniors left that field with a win. We talked about it all week, that this would be the last time they ever play in this stadium this year. And that was on everyone's mind. There was a lot of things going on now before this game. Seniors, and I talked to the parents. At 10 o'clock this morning, I visited with all the parents and told them how much these kids have meant to this university. You got Service Appreciation Day. It's a lot of stuff, and when you're a senior, your eyes are all watered up, and I get it. I'm like, hey, this is your day, man. It's tough. It's tough on everybody. It's tough on me, hugging those guys, in the tunnel. So it's just we got through it, and we won another game. How about that? So we're good.
Coach Tressa Tedrick, Channel 12, congratulations.
Thank you.
Piggybacking off of Benjamin, is that your ideal situation, having a back who could just run out the clock and make things easier for you? And just comment on his performance today.
Yeah, I've been fortunate in my lifetime. My high school football coach came to this game with his wife from Monterey, California, and that's the man who taught me football. And we ran the ball in high school. We were a running football team. And I learned a lot from that man about the toughness of what it took to run a football at a certain area where you made a yard and everybody said, well, that's not pretty, I can throw a pass. I lost one football game in 3 years with that man. He's a fabulous coach, fabulous man. And when I go up here in my office, he'll be sitting up there. And I know what he's going to tell me. You ran the ball. So we ran the ball, Coach. We ran the ball. Because that's what he believed in. And I learned it from him. And when I got to pro football, I was fortunate to have Curtis Martin, who led the league in rushing one year, and Larry Johnson, who led the league in rushing one year. Not saying I don't want to pass the ball, but I think to be tough in moments like this, when you can run the football, it says something about who you are, And I like the way we run it. I didn't know this number. We ran it 59 times. We ran the ball 59 times. We only threw it 24. And it's amazing. I know in this world everyone wants to see high scores and they want to see the ball thrown all over the yard. But I think if you run the ball with consistency, you got a chance to have yourself a pretty good football team.
Coach, you
Yes,
guys
sir.
had you guys handled adversity particularly well today. Obviously, Manny's interception, Merlin's targeting call. What can you speak on of your team just continuing to find itself when faced with some struggles?
Well, that's what football is. It's a game of inconvenience. See, every play somebody gets hit in the mouth and it hurts. And how do you handle it? And when things of that nature happen, anytime Manny throws interception, I go over and hug him and say, "Hey, man, you're okay." I look in his eyes, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, Coach, I'm good." I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll just keep playing. That play's done. It's over. You never get it back in your life. It's gone. Just keep playing. We're going to be fine." And he made some plays. And, Merlin gets kicked out, and that's a shame. I think we have 3 guys ejected so far this season. We lost Merlin. We lost 43. We lost 20. That's a tough rule, and I get the rule. It's just hard. I'm hoping he got kicked out in the beginning of the half, so I think he's good. He can actually play next week. That's a tough call for an official to make. It really is, because it's a bang-bang play. And when they say he's out, he's out. Can't argue about it. So I saw Merlin after. He was happy that we won. And that's good, because you want to win a game like that. When you're losing as many players as we lost, you need to win a game like that.
Coach, UCLA started the game converting 5 of its 6 first third downs of the game, and it ended only converting 2 of 8. What did the defense do to step up and stop the Bruins on third down?
Got him in some bad downs on first down, made some negative plays. And, Chip's an excellent play caller. He attacks your defense. And when he gets it going, they repeat plays. And they go really fast. So before you can adjust, that play's off already. So I thought Danny and those guys did a nice job when he got on the sideline to getting the board out and say, this is what they're going to do. We're going to adjust this way. But anytime you can get an offense behind the chains, then that's a plus for the defense. Early, they were in rhythm, and they made first downs. That didn't surprise me. When they drove the ball, I get it. They're going to drive the ball. I've watched too much tape on them to say they're not. And so then it's a matter of how do we adjust. We adjusted for the most part. We stopped them from running. And then it was just a matter of getting after the quarterback, which we did. We made some plays there. But the tight end was the one. He was the one that I was concerned with the whole game, because every time I turn around, he's catching the ball. And I was like, man, we tried a bunch of different coverages. We had linebackers covering him, safeties covering him, corners covering him. He's probably open right now. I mean, he's just can't cover the guy. You know, it's just one of those days, and it was our offense had to take the ball and possess the ball for long periods of time to make sure we could get a 2-score lead. So then we felt more comfortable, right? That was kind of the strategy of the whole deal when we saw what was happening.
Coach, Tyler Johnson has been a catalyst the last few
Yes.
weeks. He had 2 big plays today. How would you just assess his development throughout the season and becoming a big part of the defense?
Well, when you think about Tyler Johnson, didn't play a lot last year, and Antonio Pierce has done a nice job with him, of really fitting him in our offense. He's a talented player. He is. He's got a lot of talent, but he's like a freshman playing, because he's never played at this level. He was a good high school player, but he never played at this level. And I think when you look at him and Merlin and Butler and Rashari and Lole and Cam Phillips had to play today. There's just a bunch of them that are going in there playing. I think it's going to serve us well down the road. So he's been a big factor. He's a powerful man. Be quite honest, we had him covering the tight end a couple times. So, I mean, Tyler, this is the new defense. You cover the tight end. I'm over there coaching him up and say, get inside the guy and just don't let him get inside and just run down the field. He said, Coach, which way do I turn? I said, turn at him. When he looks for the ball, turn to him. And he covered him a couple of times, so he's a big-time athlete.
Coach, the obligatory moving forward now, Oregon, U of A, and Tucson. What are the biggest adjustments and things you'll have to focus on with this team heading into these next 2 games?
Going on the road again. 2 road games, but the first one's first. It's Oregon. And I've never, last time I was up there was, I shouldn't say I'd never been there. I was up there because Ahmad Rashad was playing for him when I went up there. That was a long time ago. His name was, Bobby Moore then, number 28. I remember like it was yesterday. And, they had a pretty good team back those days. But it looks like a fabulous place to play in. I mean, it really does. It's what I see on television, and they have a good fan base. They'll be excited about playing us. And can we go on the road and win 2 road games? We haven't won 2 yet. Won 1. Now we got to go on the road. And look, every game for us, to me, is a new experience for me as their head coach. And we're learning a lot about these guys. As I said, this was going to be their hardest game. And I said it last week. I told the coaches, I told the players, this is going to be your hardest game you have to play. And you just sense it. You can feel it. I didn't sleep all last week because I just knew it. This is going to be a tough game, and it ended up being that. All of the stuff combined. You win 2 games in a row. You beat USC on the road. You come and beat the 15th ranked team in the country at home. How do they handle all that? They've never been in that situation emotionally. And everybody can say, well, they're going to handle it. I mean, how are they going to handle it? They're kids. How do they handle that? And they're playing at home, and it's senior day, and it's all this other stuff. They got all this stuff flying around, and people are telling them, hey, if you win out, you can do this. I'm like, hey, this UCLA team, they're pretty good. Like I said, I had a conversation with Chip for almost 30 minutes out there, pregame, and we're talking, and we'll talk again when the season's over with, and we're both trying to build programs. He's starting a lot of young guys. We've been fortunate enough to win games. Our guys are learning how to win. That's going to be a good football team. A couple years from now, all those young guys playing, they're going to be really good now. We're going to be battling those guys for a long time, and hopefully we got a bunch of young recruits here. Hopefully we can get some of those guys so we can upgrade our roster as well, and it's going to be a lot of fun next couple years. Thank you. Mm-hmm.